Hi Sag, welcome to my channel. My name is Kem. Today, Sag, for a meditative session, you guys got Fox Spirit, think on your feet. I feel what I'm getting with this was someone has a plan. It could be Spirit that has a plan for you, and you feel right now like you're not in control, but I was getting more of a plan. It's both of you have a plan. So you might feel like whatever is going on in your life is out of your control in a sense, and you're reacting. But I think sooner or later, and I think that's like right now, they're telling you that even though you might feel that things are not in your control, at the same time, this is the perfect time for you to put things in control, right? To kind of steer the car in the direction you want it to go in. So, right, you get a curveball or something thrown at you and it's not something expected, right? And you have to react quickly. But at the same time, whatever your reaction is at this point, you can steer, basically, I keep getting the car in the right direction. So let's just say you get, it's like if you get promoted, but you were planning on quitting your job. You know what I mean? It's like a curveball that's against your plan. But at the same time, now it's your chance to maneuver the car, right? You can either choose to stay in the company or you can choose to leave and go somewhere else, right? I think that's kind of like the curveball, right? You weren't expecting to get promoted. Does this change things for you? And that's kind of what I'm getting with this Sag. It's something unexpected that's being thrown at you, but at the same time, it's a chance for you to fix something, right? It's a chance for you to, I guess it's really testing your plans, right? And your head, right? And where you're at, right? And I think it's a significant move because, again, if you stay with the job, it's really significant versus if you quit the job, right? This is going to basically change the direction that your life is headed in, right? You can stay at the job or you can get another one and it will, change a lot of things in your life. So that's what I'm trying to say. Whatever they're throwing at you right now, Sag, especially at the end of the year, or maybe it was a little bit, a month ago or two. Now it's kind of time to make that decision. And I feel like you guys are meant to know that it's very significant, and to know that it's not to, it wasn't put there to throw you off track. It was there to, it wasn't to highlight, it's to reinforce what you're thinking, where you're at, right? It's going to reinforce it. So if you're still really headstrong on quitting the job, it'll still be a very easy decision. But if you're in between on something, if you're very in between, right, this is the chance to pick a side, pick a lane, pick a direction. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like the time to reinforce that thought, that wherever you're going, right? It's like the reinforcement behind it. And I feel like they're trying to say, I keep seeing glasses on this guy, even though he has no glasses, so it's kind of freaking me out. But yeah, I think they are trying to say, you see clearly, right? It shouldn't be confusing for you to choose a lane, to choose a side. But if you're not seeing clearly, then it will be very hard, or you might do the wrong thing. And I don't know why it feels like there's a right and a wrong choice, to be honest. It feels like there's a right and a wrong choice. I know when we get these choices and these decisions that we have to make between things, they say like, either way, like, you decide what's best for you. But I feel like here there's a clear indication on which way you should be going. And it's dependent on what you're seeing right now. So that's what I'm really getting, Sag. It's a lot, but let's pull some cards. So Sag, I feel this reading is for someone who has pushed themselves away from who it is that they are. This is for someone who's like, how do I explain it? You've traveled very far from who it is that you are as a person, right? It's like who you started out in this life versus who you are now are not recognizable because they're so disconnected from one another. And I think what brought this on, right? This disconnect between, again, think about who you were when you were a kid versus who you are now. It's like what you wanted as a kid versus what you want now. Again, there's a disconnect, and I feel like the disconnect has come from, again, the life that we have on earth, right? And things that happen to us and the trauma that, I think some sort of trauma might have ensued as a child, right? Because I keep seeing this baby here in both these cards. And I think that whatever happened to you as a kid has really changed. It's something that like happened in childhood, right? And it could have happened in childhood, or it's just the fact that you're very disconnected from who you were from childhood to adulthood, right? There's this big change, right? Where life tested you and you became disconnected to who it is that you are, right? And I think, again, if you ask those questions of like, what did I want to do when I was a kid versus what do I want to do as an adult, and who am I as there's too big of a difference between the two. And I think that's coming from a place of disconnect within you right now. So it's kind of like traveling back to your childhood self, right? We're traveling backward in time to figure out why there is that disconnect, right? And why there is that big change between who you were as a kid versus who you are now, right? Again, for some of you, it's something that happened in childhood, but for others of you, I think it was just living in the 3D, right? And all the challenges that we have to face as we grow up, and it changes you, right? You disconnect a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more until you're left with, you're just a shell, you know what I mean? You're just walking around, but you're not even connected to yourself. You're just walking around as, I just feel like a shell, like an empty shell, right? Someone who, you can't be who you were, because being who you were put you in pain. So you've kind of disconnected from that old self, because that old self just, who you were. Maybe you were very open, maybe you were very kind, you were very loving, you were very trusting, and all that's given you in this life is pain, right? And people taking advantage of you, and people cheating you, and people lying to you, and you're seeing people's shadows have really like hurt you, basically, right? And I think now you're living in some sort of shadow aspect of yourself, but that's something you don't understand, right? I don't think you understand that you're not connected to your childhood self. You're not connected at all. But I think for some of you, you're being given this opportunity to reconnect with who you were, right? And to stop, I think a lot of it comes from, for some of you, it's in a different way where you sacrifice, you're still, how do I explain it? You are still connected to who you are, right? But people take advantage of that fact, right? So it's like in the 3D, people will take advantage of the fact that you're so kind. People will take advantage of the fact that, you're so giving, and, they'll take advantage of that. And then they have you in a state of over giving, in a state of unbalance, right? So either way you look at it, there's an imbalance. But for some of you, I feel like for most of people, it's a disconnect because of the pain. But for other people, it could also just be a disconnect because you're too nice, right? You're being taken advantage of, right? And there has to be a middle, right? There has to be a middle ground. That's what they're trying to teach you. It's like, it's not about saying no to people, right, all the time. It's not about, being mean and not caring. It's about caring more about yourself than others. It's about respecting yourself more than anything else in this world, right? It's about taking the initiative to think for yourself about, is this gonna be convenient for me, or is this gonna not, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, if you are too nice, you'll get taken advantage of. If you're not if you're disconnected from who you are, you will also be in imbalance. So they're trying to bring you guys back to a balance, right? This is about a balance. And I feel for a lot of you, it's the first case scenario where you're disconnected because of something that happened to you and you can't find yourself again. Like, you're having trouble finding who it is that you are again because of all the shit that you've gone through. And I get that. But they're waiting for you. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like the divine in the universe is waiting for you to make the connection back to yourself. I think it's kind of a timing thing where you're going to see, there's something that's going to be shown to you where you're going to see that you're not yourself. You know what I mean? And you need to connect back to yourself. However you can connect back to yourself. And there, again, there's a test or something coming up that is going to let you know who it is that you are. Or it's going to be that block in the road that you look at what you're doing and you're like, wait, this is not me. You know, I would never have done this in the past, or this is just not me. And maybe you do something pretty bad and you're like, no, like, this is never who I was meant to be, right? For everyone's gonna be different, but it's gonna be a decision that kind of implores you to look at what you're doing, because you have to go back, right? You have to go back. And if you don't go back, it's kind of like the point of no return, right? If you choose this way, it's like I feel like I'm gonna give the job analogy, but it could be anything. It's like if you decide to not quit your job and just keep going in the job that you're in, right? Because again, you're about to get that bonus, or you're about to get that promotion, and you were gonna quit, but now you got this promotion, so now they're telling you, oh, you're gonna get this much more money, and you're like, okay, well, that's what I wanted more money. But what you don't see is, like, it's technically a dead end. It's just kind of keeping you there longer, right? So it's kind of some sort of, it's like a 3D trick, right? Where it's like, oh no, pick the job, right? This is what you wanted, but it's not gonna be what you want, right? It's a temptation that's in the way of where you're supposed to be, which is to quit the job. And again, I'm not saying this is for everyone. I'm not telling people to quit their jobs and shit. I'm just saying, like, this is my example where it's gonna be harder before it gets better, right? There's gonna be some sort of test that's gonna really prove to you where you're at, right? And yeah, I think there's something here though about leaving, right? Because we're talking about leaving a job, but I think it's just leaving a situation in general, right? It could be leaving, you know, where you live and moving to a new place. It could be leaving a partner and moving to a new partner. It's something about leaving though, right? There's something here about leaving. And maybe it's just going backwards to who it was that you were as a child, right? As a kid, it would be a very easy decision for you to make, but as an adult, for some reason, it's very confusing for you. And that's why I see that there has to be some sort of going backwards. That's what I'm getting. Going back to the beginning, in a sense, where it won't seem as confusing to you if you go backwards and you think, what did you want as like a kid, and who were you as a child versus who are you now and what are you doing that is... It's like clouding your vision, but I see you're supposed to leave, right? Even if you've created some sort of foundation somewhere else, I don't think it's really authentic to who it is that you are. So it's kind of saying to leave whatever situation you're in. Kind of getting, Scorpio had something about leaving as well, but they were leaving a bad situation. I don't know if this is necessarily a bad situation. I think you can easily put yourself in a bad situation if you don't connect to who it is that you are. Right now is kind of the breaking point, right? The point where it's like a crossroads, right? And you can make a left or you can make a right. You know, you can go left or right, and it's going to be really significant for you. That's what I'm trying to say. And I feel like this is very much tied to passions and emotions, right? So I'm not talking about something that you worked really hard your whole life, let's say. We're going to go back to this job analogy, but it could be anything, right? It could be a relationship, it could be a family, it could be anything, right? Like something that is not healthy for you, but you've put a lot of time and energy into it, so that's your excuse for staying. It's like, I already put so much time and energy into this, but at the end of the day, it's like, okay, so put more time and energy into something that's not working, right? Why would you do that? It's like if you have an old car that it has no more life left in it, right? It's a 30, 40-year-old car, and it's literally worth like 2 G's, right? But you're gonna choose to pay for the entire car to get fixed, which could be like 50 G's, let's say, and the car is literally worth 2 G's, but the parts are, they're from another country and they don't sell this anymore and they don't sell that anymore, and it's like very expensive to fix it, but you'd rather fix the old car than just buy a new car. Like, that's what it seems like to me here. And it's kind of like you're arguing against yourself that you worked really hard on something that, like, this is what you've been working hard on, and that's why you have to stay in this lane. But at the end of the day, it's like what you're working on doesn't even, I don't even think it brings you any emotional fulfillment. I don't see any bond to it that's emotional or passionate, like wand or cup energy. All I see is maybe pentacle, all I see is like a stubbornness, right, of not wanting to go. More air energy, right? So I feel like it's a battle between the mind and the body, right? Because the body, I think, is telling you no, but your mind, your brain is like, no, you worked this hard, you have to stay here, right? And that's what I'm trying to say. I think that it would bring you a lot of ease if you just left a situation right now, if you just leave, but you're scared that you don't know where you're going, and you're scared of the unknown, right? It's like you have this job lined up for you and you know that it's going to provide you this much income versus a job that you leave, you go towards something you're passionate about. It's reminding me of this football player. He literally quit being an NFL football player to be like a Reiki. Is he a Reiki? He works with crystals, right? He works with crystals, crystal healing. So he literally quit the NFL for that. And I feel like he's the only person I've ever heard of that did some shit like that, where he has a contract for like millions of dollars and he quits it to do something he's actually passionate about. I mean, that's someone who's very connected to themselves, right? Yeah, he's good at football. He's getting millions of dollars, but at the end of the day, he's not, like, that's not what he wants to do. And he kind of puts everything at risk, right? Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how much a crystal healer makes. I mean, I'm sure that's not that he doesn't even care about that. Do you know what I'm saying? He's like, you know what? I just want to go towards what I'm passionate about, and he leaves the NFL for that. And that's what I'm trying to say. It's like you have a choice here between security and maybe something that you're already doing. Yeah, security and what you're doing versus something new. And I think it's like a block between yourself, and I think it's also people that are trying to confuse you at the same time. Because if you ask anybody, they're going to give you the logical thing, right? Everyone, I feel like the 3D is very disconnected. So you ask someone for advice, it's like, who are you even asking for advice? You know what I mean? Like, who are you even talking to? Because if it's someone as equally as closed off and blocked, they're not going to give you the right advice. And that's what I'm trying to say. This has to come from a more of a within thing, where you see the fact that you're not connected to who it was that you were. This was reminding me of someone that I knew who, they changed so much in the course of their, like, from me knowing them and me not, like, me ending a relationship with them, they changed so much that it's like their old self would laugh at who they were acting like. You know what I'm saying? Their old self would literally laugh at them and be like, their old self, the one that I knew, they would literally laugh at who this person had become. They would make fun of this person because this person was so full of shit. This person was so disconnected. This person didn't see like what they had in front of their eyes. You know what I'm saying? They just, I don't even know where they went. And I feel bad for this person and like talking about them, but it's like what I'm thinking about. It's like someone so disconnected from themselves that they literally like don't even know who they are, right? And they think they're going on the right path. And it's like, if the old self could like have a conversation with the new self, they would be they would not recognize themselves. They would make fun of the new self. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this is what you work so hard for, to be this. You know what I mean? That's what this feels like. It's like someone who's so disconnected from self. And yeah, even here, it's like, I think that the journey might have made you put a mask on. It might have hurt you to an extent where you didn't, being yourself, you didn't feel safe enough to be yourself. So you kind of reverted to the shadow self. And I think that they're trying to wake you up right now. Like, that's what it is. It's like, you need to wake up. And it's like, whatever you're chasing, I don't feel like you're even really passionate about. I feel it's kind of like a trick or a facade, right? Where you can keep going in the direction that you're going, right? And I think it's like a fake happiness. It's a fake passion, right? It's like, well, like the ace is never fake, right? The ace is never not real. But the fact that it came out as a pentacle tells me that I think a lot of you guys might be chasing things for the wrong reason, right? Again, you're not chasing it for passion. You're not chasing it because you love it. You're chasing it because it provides some sort of security for you. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be stable and secure. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that's like, I feel like you're so disconnected from who it is that you are that you think that this is all that matters, right, at the end of the day. But I see this being kind of a facade, right? It looks good for the moment, but it's not going to give you any long-term like love, basically. It's not going to give you any long-term anything. It's going to give you long-term stability. Like, yeah, you might have a house. And again, I'm not saying a house is not important. I'm not saying that money is not important. I get how important money is on the 3D. Like, don't misunderstand me. It's the fact that I don't think this has anything to do with who you are, right? It's like you're just doing this to, maybe you have a lot of kids and you have to pay the bills, you know what I mean? And I understand that. I don't necessarily even think this is a job. For some of you, it could be a job because I'm getting that heavy, but a lot of you guys, I think it's just some sort of stability in your life, right? Where it's like, again, it's like if you marry this person, they're rich, right? So you'll be happy forever, but you don't love this person. That's like another example, right? You don't really love this person, right? But you can put on a good act, right? And pretend like you do, just so that you can have the stability that you want, that you've been waiting, that you've been wanting this your entire life, right? And it feels like a lack mentality where it's like, I didn't have this, or I need this, and you don't realize that if you go a different route and you go towards what you're passionate for, you'll be provided for. Maybe you won't have as much money and maybe you'll struggle a little bit, but you'll be emotionally fulfilled, right? And that's what I'm trying to say here. We have the Ace of Cups out here. So it kind of seems like a test versus stability versus emotional fulfillment right now. That's what the test seems like. It seems like, yeah, you can go this route, right? These are the two routes, right? And one of them will provide a lot of security for you, but one of them will provide emotional fulfillment and love, right? And I think it's a test versus which one do you want, right? Which one is more important to you? And I feel like a lot of people, there's this poll that someone did, and it's like, what would you rather have, money or love? And most people put money. And I was like, what the I could not believe, right, that people put money over love. I really couldn't. And I guess people have a lot of feelings over, choosing money over love. I guess it was literally like, I thought it would be like 90 to 10 or, 80 to 20. And I think it was like 70-30, right? 70 money, 30 love, right? And I'm still mind blown over that fact, right? Like, if I could choose something in my life that was completely secure, would I choose love or money? And I of course I was like, love, right? And again, I'm not trying to judge people that choose money, but I think that it's interesting because money really has no significance, right? In actuality, money is paper, right? We only give it value in this life because it buys shit for us. But at the end of the day, I know a lot of rich people who are super unhappy. And I know people who have no money who are very, very, very content. And they can look at themselves in the mirror and look at who they are and be proud of who they are, right? And that's the person I aspire to be. So I feel like, who do you aspire to be in this life? Because I feel like the people who I know, this is just me personally, so you can argue against me, but the people that I know who are very, very successful when it comes to the, money and stability and have a really big house and all the shit, I feel like if they had to look at themselves in the mirror for 10 minutes, they wouldn't be able to do it. You know what I mean? And if they had the chance to do things differently, I feel like they would, because again, yes, they are very secure, but I think that there's still a longing in them for emotional fulfillment, or doing something they love, doing something they're passionate about, right? We have so much wand energy, right, connected with this cup. And that's what I'm saying. Even here we have the wand, right, with the cup. So it's basically, what do you love versus what's secure. And I'm an earth sign, so again, I have mostly earth placements, so I really understand the fundamental need for security, right? And to have a place to rest your head. And again, maybe I'm not looking at it the way you're looking at it, because I have a bed and I have a place that I feel very secure in. So maybe I'm looking at it very differently from you guys. So again, I don't want to be biased, but I feel like right now the answer, me personally, I feel like the answer is to choose the cup, right? To choose emotional fulfillment, to choose what you love, to choose what you're passionate about, to go backwards to who you were and what you would have. As a child, I feel like this would have been an easy choice, but as an adult, I feel like it's different. And I get that again. But I feel like they're telling you that pain and hard work have made you, again, not see, you're unable to see this, or you're unable to care about this shit. You know what I mean? You're unable, you don't care, right, about the cup. It's like, for what, right? But I think that they want you to reevaluate this, because it is a very big decision that you have to make right now. And I think with the Destiny card and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, that I think most of you are bound to do this, right? To choose this. And I feel like this is not the right choice with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. I just feel like if you were to choose this, and I think most of you will choose this. And this is I'm telling you, this is not the right way to go. If you decide, for those of you who decide to look at this and say, no, this isn't for me, whatever this is in, if this is marrying somebody who's more fortunate, who has more money, marrying someone who's in the same culture because it creates stability in your household. It could be with marriage, right? Or picking a partner. It could be with a job. It could be anything. I'm telling you, anything, like anything that it could be. If you guys decide to go the other route, right? Then I feel like you put yourself on another timeline, you put yourself somewhere else. Your life is going to be headed in a completely different direction. So for those who choose the cup, right? For those who choose like the way they feel, right? And yeah, I think this is the scarier route, to be honest. This is the scarier way to go. But if you choose this, yeah, there will be some ending. Like, I think it's a positive thing too. You're putting endings to shit, right? You're ending whatever happened to you that puts you in this place where you can't, you can't even see between the two. You're ending that, right? With the sword, you're ending that. And the work that you did, yeah, you might have put a lot of work into this, but again, it didn't bring you any fulfillment. It was just a lot of fucking work, right? You're putting an end to that, and you decide to take the step towards the cup, and then look what like happens for you, right? You become completely imbalanced with the self, like into balance with the self card, right? And the self card is upright. And I really like this because I think it's going to connect you not only to, once you connect to yourself, it's going to connect you to so many other things, places that you were disconnected to for so long, right? And it's, again, you were disconnected from who you were. You were disconnected from yourself. I really don't feel like there's anything more important than this card. This is like what people fight for all their lives, right? To find out who it is that they are, or to be put to the test and be actually able to, like, prove to themselves, like, who is it that I am, right? And yeah, I feel like they're trying to let you know that yes, this might not lead to a fortune that it might not lead you to the same financial security again as this way. It might not lead you to, I think it's like trying to let you know that, yeah, to be imbalanced like this, it might not lead to the financial success that you kind of wanted your entire life. But at the end of the day, I see it being the better choice for you, to be honest. That's what I'm seeing. Like, it's like you're throwing yourself in the fire, right? And you don't care. You know what I mean? It's like you might be putting yourself in this 3D in a worse, position. You know what I mean? Like, not in the more secure spot. And I think that people might also look at you and think, wow, this person, they're such a coward, you know what I mean? Or people will judge you for this. That's what I'm getting with the Strength in reverse. And it's not that you're not being strong. I think this is just the way that people are going to see you. People are going to see you in all these ways. Like, wow, this person missed out on this, right? What a dummy, right? Like, oh, this person didn't choose this. Like, wow, they're so, why they just didn't want to do the work. And what they don't understand is, like, this is the harder choice. But they're not going to see it that way, because most people, again, are just like robots, right? Walking around, where it's all about, like, yeah, let me get money so that I can buy that purse, so that I can have 20 purses in my closet, because I need 20 purses. Again, there's no shade to wanting nice things. Again, I want nice, expensive things too. But I also know the importance between these, like a decision like this, right? And again, I feel like people are going to see you this way, but I don't think that's the reality. It's not that you're not strong. It's not that you're not going to be financially secure. And it's not that you don't know how to like sacrifice your time and put and evaluate things for what they are. I think you're the only one that knows how to do that, and you're going to be the only one that sees that. And that's what I'm trying to say. I'm telling you, for those who choose this side, people are going to judge you and they're going to talk a lot of shit, or they're going to have a lot to say, but you have to be strong in what it is that you chose, because you have to know that you chose the better path. Yeah, Sag, this is crazy. Let me pull a Divine Feminine. Yeah, I think this choice was struck into the presence of the Divine Feminine. At the center of everything there is light, and I am that light. I really think that if you choose, you see how we have like all this contrast between the dark and the light, right? And you have that choice, right? And it kind of feels like this is the dark and this is the light. And I think that the Divine Feminine, right, that is a cup energy, right? The feminine, I feel like if I could say the feminine is anything, it would definitely be cup, right? It's emotions, it's flowing, it's water, right? It's feeling. And that's what I'm trying to say. I feel like the choice that you're meant to make is a divine feminine. It's kind of testing the divine feminine side of you, right? We have the divine masculine side and we have the divine feminine side, right? And if you're a truly imbalanced person, you can use both when it's needed, right? You can choose, what hat you're wearing that day. Am I gonna be in a feminine energy or masculine energy? And this is asking you to be in a feminine energy right now, right? So maybe you've been exerting the masculine side of you for a very long time, but now it's time to exert the feminine. And the feminine is feeling, the feminine is flowing, the feminine is, okay, what do I want? What do I feel like innately that I need? And again, I feel like maybe in your childhood, you were very connected to that aspect of yourself. But as you grew older, you're disconnected from your emotions. You're disconnected from the cup, right? Because you're King of Cup in reverse. So that is what they're trying to maybe balance out in you. Maybe the emotion side of you is a little immature. The emotion side of you, the feeling side, the cup, right? And you're going to be like, oh, well, I know how to love, but it's deeper than love. Like, who do you love and what do you love? It's like, now it's like, what do you choose for your life? And like, what are you choosing, right? Like, it comes down to that. And I think you're getting that choice. And again, they're both given to you by the divine, but I just feel like one is the better choice, and it's the cup. And we have all this presence of cup and feminine energy, right? And where I see that you're imbalanced is in the cup. So the choice is going to be really hard for you because you have to kind of balance that out, But for a lot of you, you're not going to choose the right decision because you're going to stay in masculine energy, and it's time for the feminine. And again, people are going to talk shit when you make this decision, but it's going to put a lot of endings in your life, which are going to lead to brand new beginnings. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to get with Sag. It's like I really feel like there's only one choice, but for you guys, it might seem like there's two. And if you see that there's still two, then I feel like you're not there yet. When you only see one option, that's when you when you know that you made it to a balanced place, right? But for now, if you're not balanced, it's going to seem like there's two options, and there really is not two. I'll be honest, there's not. There's one. So when you start to only see that one option, then you know that I feel like, getting more balanced. So yeah, maybe it's like the more people talk shit about whatever it is that you're doing, then you know you're headed in the right direction, to be honest, because that's what I feel like at the end. Like, a lot of people saying things that aren't true, but you have to be content with what it is that you chose. So I'm telling you, this decision, there's only one. And if you're very connected, you're going to see that. So yeah, Sag, that's what I'm getting for you guys today. I hope this reading resonates, and I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.